Welcome back, everyone, to the news segment of BlockHash. Make sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe wherever you are watching this video or listening. All right, let's dive into the news today. So things are about to get wilder in the land of crypto. Donald Trump is gearing up for another presidential stint after he won his election last week. He's preparing, apparently, to put Bitcoin on the national treasure map, like for real. Remember when he and some other buddies were throwing around the idea of a Bitcoin reserve? Yeah. Well, Senator Cynthia Lummis, the Bitcoin senator, quote unquote, is saying it's on the table. So this actually might happen. So if you thought politics couldn't get weirder, think again, we might actually end up with Uncle Sam stacking sats instead of dollars. Trump has also noted that he plans to use Bitcoin to help counteract the national debt crisis, and he's appointing a lot of pro-crypto folk into his cabinet. So things are looking really good for the crypto industry. iBits, BlackRock's new Bitcoin ETF, is like the new kid on the block that has already been beating up the old gold ETF in just a few months. It's like, hey, iBit, what's your secret? And it's just flexing over $27 billion in inflows with a whopping 1.1 billion in a single day. Yeah. Bitcoin's now hitting all-time highs at $77,000 plus. And everyone's jumping on the crypto train faster than you can say crypto winter. Seems like while gold's been napping, Bitcoin's been stealing its safe haven crown. Go figure. We are also about to dive back into the trade wars, and guess who's back? That's right, Robert Lighthizer, the tariff maestro himself. Trump's like, hey, Robert, fancy another round of let's make trade agreements great again? And here he is, ready to slap tariffs on everything like he's adding extra toppings onto a pizza. Apparently, he wanted to play Commerce Secretary, but I think that job's going to someone else. So he's back on the trade front line. So suck it, China. America's fucking back. 2025 is looking juicy. The US is actually losing ground in the blockchain developer scene, which is, quite sad. Maybe that'll come back under Trump. We'll see what ends up happening. But every year, our share of these tech wizards seems to be dropping by about 2%. And now we're down to less than 30% of the global crowd. Kind of scary when you think of, innovation being so important, especially in this sector. It's a bit of a wake-up call because while we've been chilling, places like India, Africa, Latin America are stepping up their game big time. And now, why should you care? Well, blockchain isn't just about crypto. It's about the future of tech, finance, and so much more. We want to keep leading. We gotta up our game. We need to invest in education, create clearer rules for the space, and really embrace the tech. Because let's face it, by 2030, we're talking about 1 million new jobs in this field, and I'd like those to be in the US. I'm sure most of you guys would as well. So you also got to be careful right now because there's this North Korean hacker group called BlueNoroff, and they've just launched a new attack called Hidden Risk aimed at US crypto folks on Mac OS. Yeah, on Mac. They're sending out these fake emails, like news-based emails, nothing to do with us, but like spammy emails with PDF attachments that look super legit. But when you open them, boom, you've got malware slightly starting to download into the background, and this nasty software can basically give hackers control of your system. You're stealing all your crypto wallet info, any important details, seed phrases. So, watch out for those sketchy PDFs. Don't click on things you get in your email. Always double check because your digital assets could be at risk. So be careful out there. Also, MicroStrategy, the company that's basically playing Monopoly with Bitcoin, just threw down a cool $2 billion, about 27,200 Bitcoin, snagging each one at a cool 74,000, with Bitcoin being, pretty close to 90,000 right now. What a gain in a short period of time. They're now holding over 250,000 Bitcoins, making them the ultimate Bitcoin hoarders of the corporate world. Also, they've been selling stocks like they're going out of style, raising another $2 billion to probably buy even more Bitcoin, if we're being honest. And guess what? Their Bitcoin investments are up 26% this year. Their stock price up 16%. Good for you, MicroStrategy. And lastly, something to cover that I think is important is Gary Gensler, even though I don't think he in general is important. The SEC's top dog is basically packing his bags faster than you can say Trump won. According to John Reed Stark, a former SEC big shot, Gensler's actually out the door, halfway out the door, foot out the door. Because when a new president comes in, like Trump, it's like a game of musical chairs, and guess what? The music has stopped. Now, get this, the new chair might be Hester Pierce, aka Crypto Mom. Some, things swirling around the cycle a little bit in terms of rumors, who's been very critical of the SEC and the regulatory by enforcement approach with crypto. With Trump in office, just generally expect the SEC to chill on crypto crackdowns a bit, maybe even start working with Coinbase and Binance instead of suing them all the time and every other smaller company into oblivion. It's just not helpful. Moving on to our weekly forecast, Bitcoin is exploding like a fucking rocket. If you look at the chart, obviously, we've had the Trump election win back on November 5th, and I'll zoom in here on the daily just so you can get a better look at it. This is what most people have been waiting for. We've been in this tight consolidation phase for a while now at this point, going back to probably the spring, literally the spring, March, 13th of March, more or less, was probably the top for Bitcoin, going over the course of the next, 6 months or so into the fall. I think most people were just waiting to see what the election outcome would be, because if Kamala Harris would have won, the administration for them would have probably been anti-crypto. I don't really believe any of the fluff and bullshit they put out in regards to saying that it would have been positive for the industry, when for 4 years, practically, it was very negative. And Trump has come out very pro-crypto. He's brought on a lot of crypto folks. He's made a lot of promises to the Bitcoin crypto community, to Web3 at large. He's actually gotten involved himself and created his own platform. So he's definitely shown a lot more, I think, empathy for the space. And so, yeah, he won on November 5th, and the space, seems to be doing well. Bitcoin took off, crypto's moving in the right direction. The conditions, for this industry were right on a 4-year period. Cyclically, it's about time for a bull market to start. Bitcoin had already broken through its all-time high again in March, but it needed confirmation that the industry at large, especially in the US, was going to be favorable, and it looks like that happened. You saw a lot of that start to trend as we got into September, and Trump started expanding upon his lead with Kamala. You can see that in the RSI and the moving average there, and then obviously breaking above that. So again, what's my forecast? Where's it going? It's going to go to 100,000. I don't know when it's going to do that. It's definitely moved a lot in a short period of time. If we go over here and we grab price range, we go to the 5th to where we're at today. Bitcoin's up a cool 33%, which is a lot for Bitcoin. We're talking about a $2,200+ jump. $22,600+ jump in just a week. So yeah, if it can do that in a week, it could very, very well get to 100,000 next week. But does that mean that it's actually going to do that? We're going to need to wait and see how this plays out, see where we get our pullbacks, and going into the holidays, going into the new year. I imagine by the time we get to January and he takes the oath of office around the 20th, and we have his new cabinet start to get into place. He's got the Senate, he's got the House. He's going to be able to pass generally whatever he wants. Then you'll probably see Bitcoin really get above 100,000 by then. So my guess is we're not going to see 100,000 until his inauguration in January, and he starts passing bills and taking action. But I think this is all preemptive of where it's going to go. Not saying it can't go to 100,000 by the end of the year. Definitely could. But there's a lot of excitement right now, and you'll see a lot of people probably sell and take some positions at some point here, and likely you'll see it kind of look like that. So Bitcoin's looking pretty solid right now. The rest of the crypto market is following pace, not quite at the same pace as Bitcoin. Maybe you can make an argument for something like Doge, which is obviously favors into Elon Musk and his acronym for the Department of Government Efficiency. So I don't know if there's any practicality to the token there, and it, being, positive in terms of price action, but we'll come back to that in another week or so. I want to give altcoins some time to really juice up and generate some movement on the charts. But for now, this is what Bitcoin's doing. You can likely see altcoins probably follow pace with it. It's well above its 20, 50, 100, and 200-day moving averages, looking very bullish, moving in the right direction. Expect pullbacks as we go up, but 100,000 is that big barrier psychologically that we all want to hit. So expect that to come soon, but maybe not immediately. But things are looking good. I won't even get into long-term forecasts because we're in price discovery mode. And let's just see how things play out over the next month or two. Anyways, that is it for our segment today. For BlockHash news, make sure to, again, like, comment, and subscribe, and tune in weekly for the next segment.